Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. shit, here we go again.
Yeah. It's your man, I Make Mad Beats, live here from outer space. We're here with another episode of what we call Type Beat, a producer podcast. We're live from outer space again in an unapologetic studio. Somewhere behind me, I'm gonna let them shout themselves out.
What's good? LJ1S.
Good afternoon. It's Kid Maestro.
Hi, everybody. It's Sheena.
Hello. All right. We have a few topics to talk about today. Some pretty interesting ones. Y'all mind shouting them out?
Man, I mean, let's just dive into it. I think instead of,
Yeah.
First I just want to say, I fucks with y'all. I love y'all. And I feel like that just goes into showing love with just how this starts off. Showing love in the industry, man.
That's a pre-show love.
Yeah.
So we're on top.
So you
Before we talk, you gotta let it know.
so
like,
you don't get accused of not showing love.
I show love. I fucks with my people.
All right, show love for today. Okay, cool.
Now that we done with that.
All right, on to the next.
All right, that's enough.
Hating y'all niggas now. Showing love, man. Showing love in the industry. Specifically, like, since we're gonna go there, the difference between men and women showing love, whether it be just supporting, investing in their own craft, trying to get discounts, the love discount.
The love discount.
You know how people like, bro,
That could be two
show some
things.
love, man. We fam, what you got? What's the family discount? What's the, that's the thing. What y'all thoughts on showing love throughout this journey in this industry when it comes to the music, just being creative?
Well, in terms of, I don't know, there's definitely, like we was talking beforehand, just like a general sense of kind of public showing love from women to women. I'm not gonna lie, I be feeling like that junk is a little cap though.
Yeah.
I be feeling like that should be deceitful.
Y'all be showing love out of hate.
It's a mix. It's a mix. That's
I be, you know,
Love
saying,
out of hate.
it's definitely a mix. Yeah. I feel like with women compliments, because it's so a part of the woman to woman culture, or like just like people who present as women to women culture, sometimes they're not genuine. Like sometimes people are like overly exaggerating in their compliments. So someone will do something, it'll be really mid. Everyone knows it's mid, but like everyone's in the comments like, "Oh my God, I would die for you. You're my queen. Step on me." But like that's just like the language, and so it gets hard to differentiate between like who is really impressed by what you're doing and who is just like bigging you up because girls support girls. So like. I think on the flip side, it's literally the other extreme of men never complimenting each other, and then women always complimenting each other, but you don't know if they mean it because that's just what you're supposed to do.
cause niggas be loving what you do and not saying it.
Giving any type
You know
of
what I'm
flowers,
saying?
none of that. But that's interesting though. Like I didn't think of that dynamic. Which one would you prefer? Like,
You had to choose.
yeah, because I'm like, if low key, if I know you don't fuck with me, like keep that same energy. I don't
Yeah.
need you. Oh, bro, that's dope as hell. And low, like behind the scenes, you feel away, or you don't even rock with me like that.
I don't know, because I think like I think I might feel more frustrated by the times when I know someone is and thinks that I'm like doing something that touches them, but they are like purposely not telling me. Like that bothers me more than when I have to parse through like this person is saying this to me, but they really don't mean it, or this person is like loving and like to like cover their hate, versus this person is really showing me love. Like I would rather deal with that circus than like people purposely withholding praise, because like I don't know, that maybe that's just like a personal trigger of mine. I really don't fuck with it.
Yeah, if I had to choose, I think both are pretty shitty scenarios. But if I had to choose, I would definitely choose dealing with people showing fake love. And the main reason is because there's two reasons. One, from a business standpoint, like just more comments, more engagement, just kind of boost things. So I would rather the engagement is better than the non-engagement.
Hold on, pause on that. Oh, man, I'm proud of you, bro.
That's
That's something a few years ago you wouldn't have even been thinking about. I'm proud of you. Go ahead, my brother.
Showing love. I don't know if it's fake love, but you know what I'm saying? Showing love.
I love that.
But no, I never thought about that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so the engagement, I mean, if you don't fuck with me, yeah, I can't control that. So, you know what I'm saying? Say something, I guess. That's going to help. But two, on the not business tip, like if you're good at it, right? If you're good at showing fake love, hopefully I don't perceive it because that's just going to build me up. You know, that would ideally increase my own confidence. So I'll continue to keep doing what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Because regardless, I can't control if you actually fuck with it. So, like, just let me get more things in my life that's gonna build me up to continue to improve and get better and do what I'm doing. And I feel like compliments, whether genuine or not, would be fuel to that fire. So that's what I would prefer. Again, both kind of shitty situations to be in, but you know, I think I would prefer that.
you breaking it down that way, I mean, I get it, especially from a business standpoint. Personally, I hate that type of energy, but I get it, especially now with the exposure, social media. Like, you still bigging me up, even if it's genuine or not. People still going to see it. They're going to receive that. Oh, this is a person that does this. Very, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I honestly don't know which side I land. If I had to choose one, I don't know which side I land on because, like, so yes, like I like one thing that I internalized since the inception of Unapologetic is just the fact that, like, you know, there's gonna be fans who are just like, yo, I love what you guys do. I'm a fan, right? Then there are gonna be fans who are like, I love what you guys are doing. You're currently able to do it more and at a higher quality than me. And so I'm going to be down with y'all until I don't have to be down with y'all. Right? And then there's going to be people who are just like, all right, I don't like what these guys do, but for some reason they're getting a whole bunch of attention. So I'm a fake show love to these guys, et cetera, because they might get opportunities that I need/want. And I don't want my dislike of these people to be why I don't get these opportunities. I'm just gonna weasel my way into opportunities and then pull myself away from these people whenever necessary. I have personally and directly dealt with all of those things in the last few years. But I also know, like, all of that is a part of the tidal wave that is marketing and visibility, right? My man Mike Doty once said, you know, you gotta be remarkable, right? And what he meant by that was like, no, you have to make it so that people have to talk about you. Whether they like you or hate you, they have to talk about you. And so everything we've mentioned is being remarkable. And so once I just, you know, got past like the idea, like, damn, bro, why dudes gotta be fake? And you just realize, like, no one has ever had success without these things being a part of the recipe. Yeah. Then you think about how to use it, right? That's when you realize, like, no, people vehemently disagreeing with you on your post is actually good for you, right? That's when you get to what Kid said, right? Where it's like, nah, this is all marketing. Like, post your hot takes. Hope that people feel, you know, a certain way about it and disagree and argue in the comments, because that is your pathway to visibility. And that's the hardest thing that's the hardest thing for us to get as independent artists, is visibility. So there's that side of it where it's like, nah, structurally and strategically, nah, let's go. You know, be fake, whatever you got to do. You know, fill in your quota. You know what I'm saying? That's it. No, I'm being honest. Like, it is always going to be a mix of people who really mess with you, people who mess with you because they realize they can't compete, and then people who are just trying to, like, you know, find a way to get an opportunity through you. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a par for the course. So go ahead and get in whatever line you're going to get in. As long as you're in line, I'm going to win. You know what I'm saying? That's one side of it. Now, the other side of it is like, it's a lot more personal, a lot less structural on business, where it's just like, I do so much in my life to be like exactly who I am right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really like, the neighborhood I grew up in is like many neighborhoods across this country where, you know, like you're considered weak if you're not willing to say what you said in private in public. Right? Like if you're saying one thing over here and you're saying another thing over here, like you're considered two-faced. Right? You're considered afraid of the moment. Like for some reason, like if you were talking trash about me, right? But in front of me, you're not talking trash. In fact, you're saying words of praise, right? What that really means is you're afraid of me. That's what that really means, right? And so on the other side of it, it's like, it's hard to know that that exists and find a way to be comfortable around what is clear and obvious manipulation, right? But the thing I always have on my side is that most of these manipulators are not really good at it. And so I am incredibly aware that that's what's happening, and I am allowing you to smile in my face because you're too afraid of me. I enjoy your fear as well.
I have to get to that level. I'm not there. Like, especially now, because I'm so genuine with, like, if I fuck with you, I rock with you. If I don't, I don't. I won't be around you. I'm not gonna fake kick it with you. Like, that's just who I am. So to understand like what you were saying, just like it's still part of the marketing and everything like that. Like I'm crossing that threshold of like seeing it, understanding it, and learning how to use it, so to speak. Because, man, some years ago, I'll definitely be like, all right, bet that's how you feel, pull up. You know, but it's you got to move differently when you're doing business and stuff like that. You're a businessman. You are a brand, and you're trying to build the brand and everything like that. So you can't just be out here wilding. It's a tough thing to do. I'm working on it.
And it's certainly like a more nuanced dynamic between that happening on social media and like in real life. You know what I mean? Like it's different when somebody like what you saying, where somebody's like, "Yo, you the greatest, you the best, you the best." You know what I'm saying? And you start to feel like, all right, come on. Like, come on, shout out to Unique. When you know what I'm saying, where you could feel the phoniness in it. Yeah, you just be like, when it's in your face, you're like, that's a lot harder to deal with. But
I never felt that because I am the best. So when people tell me that I'm the best, they're always telling the truth. But
We're a fan. We clapping that.
You know what I'm saying?
with the intentions are the phony part. Like you can tell someone like doesn't really like love you. Yeah,
but and see that's like and that's what I'm referring to. Like that's tough to like sit through. You know what I mean? Just be like, because like the other part of it is like, and I mean this is different than what you were saying, Neem, is like I personally don't like the feeling of somebody feeling like they're getting over on me.
Oh yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
it's like.
Y'all gonna make me play the quote? Y'all gonna make me play the quote? Go ahead. I'm giving the quote. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
favorite shit.
And I, I feel like that's a part of just being mature and just, growing in maturity between like having to, like understanding I don't have to prove that I know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's particularly tough for me. Like I just don't.
No, that's something that.
Like, I actually hate what it
Actually,
means.
hate. No,
Yeah.
I had to get over my pride with that too, because I think like I in the last like maybe 2-3 years, I like first it was happening to me unknowingly because I really was who people thought I was. I was very naive and like thought everybody like wanted the best for me and like thought the best for me, and then I started to realize that people were like just like playing in my face, and then I got angry. Because I was like, y'all think I'm stupid, but really I was just like being kind and like and thinking that you were being kind, and so I had there was a crossroads where I had the option of like I could like let these people know that they think I'm dumb, or I could just let them keep thinking I'm dumb, and just like and so I can see everything. Because once people think that they have to lie better,
Yeah.
they're gonna do more. So like if they think that you're stupid, they won't have to lie that bad. So you can see everything that they're doing and they're transparent and like and it's really like it just looks like embarrassing on the outside, but like they can't hurt you if you can see everything that they're doing.
Yeah, that's maturity. You know what I mean? That was and I agree. I just saying that's a lot tougher to deal with in person than it is like on like a social media post.
Yeah, and I think for me that's the dynamic that I deal with the most. Like social media, I can care less, whatever. But it's more so people that I know that I've been around that I've shown genuine love to and actually felt that we had a certain relationship. To later on figure out that you're moving this way. So now it's like when I see you. You be like, "What up, LJ?" And I'm a, me being me is I'm gonna say some shit, or it might be, I'm trying to work on that because I can't move that way because I'm focused on other things. So now, because I know I'm not at that space, I just remove myself from those situations, from those scenes, whatever. If I know I can't tolerate being around someone acting like that, I just remove myself. Because I know once you say "What's up, LJ?" or whatever,
like, what's up?
It's gonna be a problem. Like, I don't work well with that.
No, I historically haven't worked well with that. You know what I'm saying? So but I will say though, like, the further you go in this game, the more desensitized you'll come to like those issues, and then that's when you turn the corner of like, hey, wait a minute, there's actually strategy to this. Right, like once those things like land on you in less of an offensive way and in more of a normal way, you can say to yourself like, nah, I actually mathematically this helps me. Like there are people who like and love my posts on Facebook all the time. You know what I'm saying? Who I know don't have my best interests at heart. Right. But every time you like and love my posts, it's helping other people. It's helping the people who do have, you know what I'm saying? Like see my stuff. So it's like, nah, please keep doing that. Like, please keep being insincere. You all play your role in my success.
I'm learning it. Definitely some growth, maturity that I thought I was good with until it started coming to my front door like more and more time. Like, I bet. Apparently, I have an issue with this. I have to, I have to figure out how to navigate, through life, dealing with these things.
You know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm gonna tell you why in the beginning. It's not necessarily even a defensive thing, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Like being attacked by somebody or feeling like somebody doesn't have your best interest in mind. Like that's not even the biggest reason as to why that dynamic is potentially frustrating. The reason why it's the most frustrating to me is because like even for you, like if you would just be honest, you would get further. You don't even realize, like, you think your plan is strategic. You're actually just hurting yourself. It's watching people not be intelligent enough to realize this game you're playing is working against you. You think you're working against me. You're actually helping me. You're just hurting you. And it's watching people not realize that. For me, that's the worst part. Right? It's the worst. It's where there's some level of ego in you to where you think you're moving in a way where nobody knows you're doing that. Wow, you're the greatest supervillain of all time. You're not Gustavo, bro. We know you're a drug kingpin. Like, like that's the part where it's just like, yeah, bro, all right, well, just go ahead and lose. I'm going to just win. You know.
All right.
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like we're slowly straying away.
I wanted to. I think what I was gonna say is gonna kind of reel us back in because before we was talking, you gave an example about
Man, we was on point. Nah,
about the dance girls when you did the Rella remix jump.
that's a good one.
And when I was thinking, well, I think that's true, but more so to me, like from what I've seen, using that example, like I think there are certain, more than like a man and woman thing, I think there are just certain cultures that are more supportive. Like I feel like dancers in particular, in general, like just have this level of camaraderie that is just beyond any other like creative group that I've personally seen. Maybe that's just because like it's all like movement, so like the more active you are, you just like feel
It's
better,
so
and that's just
collaborative.
like you know what I'm saying, the dance like that's just a high energy situation. Like you can't really just be doing that and just everybody just chill. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hold on. We gonna come back to that in a second. I just want to shout this out. Sonny says LJ has definitely grown from the time he wanted to beat up the garbage man at Rec Room.
Hey,
What happened, bro?
look,
damn, all right.
was it Rec? It was Rec.
Man trying to change it.
No, so that situation, I will be honest, it wasn't even his fault. It wasn't his fault. I was after the whole company.
Oh no.
So this is what happened. I believe I told you about it before. So we had a show that we were doing there, and these folks basically like booked us the same day they was doing like wrestling night or some shit.
Yeah, you did tell me
And
this
they
story.
didn't prioritize us at all, and like kept pushing our time back and whatever. It low key, it felt like it was hella racist. Because of the people who were in charge, the conversations leading up to that, like they weren't talking to me, but I'm hearing everything that's going on, and it was just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like we agreed to do the show, everything like that. Everything was set up. Then the day of, all of a sudden they like, bro, fuck them type shit, and it was like, nah, y'all gotta see me. And this is what I was saying, like. It didn't matter who. You part of this establishment. You knew what was going on. It's about to be a problem. Like,
No, not
but I
the
had to chill out. But that's why I say I'm growing. I'm growing because I definitely was like, I think bro just started his shift. He was about to get it. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like, it was a problem. It was a problem. But this day, this is why like I would not go up there and.
I mean, they didn't survive the pandemic, didn't they?
I don't know. I'm glad. Yeah,
It's a wrap.
it got
Dang,
to the
so it's
point.
a rap? Mm-hmm. Dang, I thought they just like added some acts on or something. I didn't know they was gone.
It got to a point I was like, bro, if I ever get the money, I would buy this from them and just make sure they could never have access.
Now,
like, it was on some
yeah.
real, like, bro, all right, this what y'all on? Like, and this is another reason why I said I can't be going on tour with y'all, because I'll be like, bro,
Yeah, I mean,
got some growing to do.
yeah, I guess. I guess. It don't really be that dramatic, but yeah, I feel it.
That moment, yeah, bro.
All right,
yeah.
well, I'm glad you didn't beat up the trash man, bro.
I would have been, I would have been on the news that night.
Nigga probably gonna make $725. He
Yeah.
just pulled up his
Yeah.
shit.
Man.
That's what I'm
You know
saying.
what's
That's
going
what I'm saying.
on.
I had to like really sit with myself, like,
Yeah.
this ain't it, bro. Relax.
But yeah, but with the dance, like dance culture, like they just, like I think camaraderie is just like a more part of the culture, more so than music, because like I don't even know what it is, because dance is just as competitive.
I was just about to
But-
say that. I don't know if I think there are probably more competitive sectors of dance. Like if we were to look at like one of the like super elite closed off ballet companies, I'm sure they're not cheering for each other every time they get on the stage. Like I think like I feel like the amount of camaraderie is directly linked to the steepness of competition in a field.
So, man, I kind of feel that. I would, from my experience, and you could let me know, I feel that men are definitely more outwardly competitive in a general sense. And so I feel like because of that, like it hinders the amount of general love
Yeah.
that we can show each other, just like from a, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely can work well to each other with each other, but only up to a certain point. You know what I mean? Like you if you look at boxing, for example, like niggas can show love, but like in the ring, if you're taking it seriously, like the more serious you take it, the more you're out to get this person you are, the more you're trying to beat this other person. And then once that's all over, then it's back to camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like men like just be living in the in the competition part so much that they never like back out to the appreciation of like, yo, we have a commonality in this. You know what I'm saying?
I think it happens. I just think it happens when it's all said and done. Like, meaning like, you know, when Kobe was playing, you never saw that. But as soon as Kobe retired, Kobe had mad love for everybody. He was telling stories. Same thing with Shaq. I just think that, like, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, I just think that, yeah, the competitive nature part of it, and more important, you know what? Let's refine that. It is the competitive nature part of it, but women are competitive too.
I'm just competitive differently.
Absolutely. I think what is deeper in the man side of it is the intimidation part of it, right? Like that part of competition, right? Which is showing like, I don't even think this is a fair match. I'm going to slaughter you, you roach. Like that level of thought. Like,
right.
like that's the part.
Ah, yeah.
I mean,
That
we
makes sense.
guys, we definitely get pretty.
Yeah, it's like you can't just think you're better. You have to also put down in a way like your competition.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that, and again, like it's 100% possible to show love, but like the more love you show, the less of that energy you can show at the exact same time. You know what I mean? Like I feel so. It's like a sliding act. Yeah.
I feel that, but then part of it is like, cause I don't have an issue with showing love to if I got love for you, I don't have an issue with showing that. But even in the same like breath, if we're about to battle, yeah, it's love. But once we hear,
But, and
wrap,
that's what I'm
you know?
saying. It's like people are. I feel like men, outside of the proper environment for it, are always battling, always in that battle mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like it just don't turn off or don't scale back. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. I can see that.
For that showing love energy to come through. Because like every time somebody do something, it's like an act of war.
Yeah.
I feel like in order for you to balance those things, you have to not be insecure. Because if you're always insecure, you're always going to feel on guard. You're always going to feel like someone's challenging you. And so you can never show love. You can never let your guard down. Because it's always a fight, and they always trying to get over on you.
That's real.
Yeah,
It's the
I
insecurity.
But I don't know. Okay, so I think we're getting into the weeds. Like I feel like now, if we're talking about this element of it, like, okay, so I had two questions I was going to ask you guys. Well, one question was going to be like, if you're being honest, right? Have you ever experienced what it's like to be this person that we're discussing, right? Maybe at a younger age, maybe when you were less secure,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you dive into how that felt and why?
For me, well, I wouldn't necessarily consider it the same because I feel like when I dealt with that, I was super young, and I was dealing with like father issues type thing. Like my brother spent time with my dad a lot more than I did, and I wanted that. So there was a part of me that used to feel away, but like I feel like that's as a child, as a kid. But I mean, that is a thing. I feel like once you get a certain age, you shouldn't at least still blame childhood things, dynamics. So it's like it's kind of that, but kind of not. At least in my perspective.
I don't feel like it all comes from that. Because I was also about to reference that. And any time that I've been like competitive, whether it was in arts or like in some like otherwise career shit in school or like just in love and romance, like it was literally just like me trying to get validation, which I don't know. I feel like I don't.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I feel like I'm missing where we're veering off.
Yeah,
Well-
because I don't. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just say for me, there's a couple dynamics that I feel like I can point to. One dynamic is that just feeling like, okay, linking to some childhood stuff, like most, like for me, actions, you know, like equated to praise. So it's like, you know, get good grades. This is evidence of being a good kid or a smart kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know if I mean, I got good grades a lot, so, but I don't know if I just felt like I was a smart kid regardless of whether I got A's, you know what I'm saying, in school. So that same pattern, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm doing something right and then somebody else does something that I'm doing and they get the validation that I don't get,
Then I'm not.
that
as
just
good
me
as them.
that's like that the pattern of my life just shows that okay, that I'm bad, you know what I'm saying, because I'm not good, because this is I didn't get that same love.
Right.
I didn't get this kind of love. So it's the insecurity part. But the other part of it is like there's definitely been times where like it's still it's less insecurity but more so self-absorption.
Oh yeah, like I'm better than this person. Why am I not?
Well, not necessarily. That's definitely happened. But where I was going was like, oh damn, this was great. And instead of like expressing that, I just start thinking about myself and like, oh, I need to get better. I need to do this. I need to go learn it, or I need to do that. And it's not even about it's just about me. And so, like, it's not even like a thought to express that, because that's not what I'm feeling. I'm just feeling like, oh, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm no longer in that moment. So there's that. There was that dynamic too that I feel like I've definitely experienced on the other side.
That's what I'm saying. I've definitely been there on some, like, I mean, I love to compete. I play sports, I like football and everything like that. But even then, my first response, of course, is like, oh, I gotta get better. But it's never on some like, I'm not gonna cheer for you. Like, I got people that did me dirty. But like, if someone be like, bro, what you think of them as an artist? I'm like, oh no, he nice. But I would never, because that's the thing, like, your gift and your talent, I feel like it comes from a different source. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you because you've been blessed or if you worked hard enough to get to this level. More so, I'm going to figure out, okay, what do you do differently that I don't? Versus being like I can't fuck with dude. Like,
But see, that's the thing. I feel like, unless you like, I mean, maybe some people just have like a out for somebody. I don't really feel like I've just like not fucked with somebody, so therefore I didn't cheer. Yeah, I just, that's not what's coming to mind. I just feel like the dynamic of not showing love is mostly about like how a person feels about themselves, and a lot less about how a person feels about like the person they're not showing love to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always showed love. Like, cause
You know what I'm
I
saying?
always look back at me. Like, any time of those situations happen whether I'm not chosen or whatever, I always look at me. Okay, not that I'm not good enough, but maybe what's my weakness? What they have that I don't have? What are they doing differently? And then that, a lot of times for me, that builds the relationship, because I'm like, hey, bro, how are you doing this? Like, me and Matt, it's obvious. Matt is fucking amazing at what he does. I wanted to learn from him. So I'm like, hey, how are you doing this? Versus being like, nah, bro, that nigga on some like gatekeeping. Like, nah, that's never been my approach. It's more so like, okay, how can I figure this
that's
out?
different. That's like intentionally, cause like just the way you're saying it is like, nah, bro, that nigga ain't on shit. But I'm really just referring to like the apps of just not saying anything.
I think y'all are talking about two different kinds of
I got you.
of not showing love. Yours is more like not like they're not like thinking like, okay, I want to compliment this person, but then I will be letting them know that I think they're above them, so I'm not gonna do that. But you're talking about just you see something that you like and then you start thinking about, oh, what can I change or what can I do? Da, 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 da. And you talking about people being like, I don't fuck with that nigga because he makes me feel insecure.
And that's what that's the part I've experienced this even now. Like, people will feel away because I'm doing certain things versus rather like, yo, how did you? What are you? Like, they instantly be like, nah, fuck him because that ain't me. And it's like, that's the type of hate. I'm like, bro, what? Like, how can you move that way? But it's people out here that do it. And that's why we're talking about it. We see that a lot. I know I have and currently am. People will feel away because you are making certain moves or whatever and don't want to show love to you because of that. Because they may feel it should be them or whatever. Me personally, I always thought that way of thinking was backwards. But that's just me. What you got, man? I feel like you've been sitting there.
The preacher hands up.
Like he just waiting, like, all right.
Guest preacher Judge? Coming all the way from West Memphis. I mean, y'all are saying it, man. You know, I just, I think what I'm kind of hearing, though, as we kind of dive deeper into like the psyche of specifically men and why there's such a difference in between men's issues with you being great, you know what I'm saying? And like, maybe women's issues with or dealing, how they handle those things. There just seems to be like almost maybe like a conflation or like a cloud of like some of the things that make men great, spilling over into some of the things that make men terrible. And to me that's a whole different cerebral psychological conversation. But I will say too, like I've definitely been on the hater side, but I think the thing that I am like criticizing in this moment is not if you on the hater side or not, right? It's realizing that like at some point, probably all of us will be, right? But it's just like, when are you self-aware enough to be an adult and realize that's not serving you anymore? Right? So to like for me, for example, my man Eric, he was like, yo man, kids used to be mad at me because I had like the new Nintendo or whatever, or the new gaming system, And when he told me that, I was like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, bro, I would have been one of them kids. And it wouldn't have been your fault at all. You had two parents who was looking out for you, and they thought you had a good report card, and they gave you a Nintendo, and you probably deserved it. And I would have hated on you for it. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? But again, that was when I was a kid. I was extremely insecure. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I didn't know how to handle my circumstances either. And so there are allowances for that and understanding. There's grace for that. But man, you can't be, almost 30 years old or something, you know what I'm saying, and ain't figured out like, wow, bro, you really just mad at your own life. You really got no problem with, bro. Like if you have not self-awared yourself enough, if you haven't audited your own ideas enough, man, you got a lot of work to do. And it's as simple as that.
Gotta make some art, bro. It's one of the greatest ways to do so.
That's it. And that's like, and that's it was funny. I was gonna go there, but then I stopped myself because I was like, it's time to go on to the next topic. but where I was gonna go is like that's the same bag of ideas and emotions that's gonna make you a better artist. Period. Is willingness to explore an extreme audit of self.
Man, Yo, Jay, you said something. I just want to stay here for a second. You know what I'm saying? So, you said, like, that would make you be like if you saw something and you was like, damn, you killed this shit way better than me, and you would be like, your attitude would be like, yo, trying to figure out, yo, how did you, or what is, you know what I'm saying? And before, so my question is, what would y'all consider showing love and what's not showing love? And why I'm asking that is because what you just said reminded me of what we was talking about when we came up with this topic. And it was like when women post pictures, they be like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Slay, all this. When dude post a picture, niggas will be in the comment like, yo, where you get your shoes from? Do y'all consider that showing love?
See, okay.
When a nigga be like, yo, what sample is that?
Nah, see, for me,
Versus saying, yo, that beat was dope.
yeah, for me, it's different though because like, and this is because I definitely will tell you that beat is dope, and I probably will still ask you, fam, where did you find this sample?
Well, I'm saying but is that not showing love if somebody's just like, yo, what sample is that? Or where you get them shoes? Or where that jacket come from?
I guess it is if that's what they intended. So I feel like that's more of a, is the person receiving that comment going to receive that as love? Because I could just as easily, if I post something, if I'm a producer, I make a beat, and then somebody say, yo, where you get that sample from? I could just think you like that sample. I could not feel like you like my beat at all. But you could have intended, man, this is fire. But the way you clear that up and say, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Where did you find that sample?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But is that love?
yeah, I'm saying like, so what you're saying is it's just about how the person receives it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that might be a gray area.
What you think, Matt?
About the specific example with the sample or just in general?
I mean, with this, we just go both because I'm kind of using like the where you get your shoes as kind of like a similar thing.
Yeah. Man, I'm be honest, bro. Like, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this to. Because like I've dealt with enough. I don't want to get into something deep, something long-winded. But I'll just say this, man. You know, I've been through enough, in particular in this community, to like second guess all love. You know what I'm saying? And so, unless there's a pattern involved, it all goes into an ocean of, you know, don't take the criticism too seriously, don't take the compliments too seriously. Just keep doing you and keep moving forward. You know, like I don't really know someone is on my side or someone's a fan unless there's a pattern to it. Right? So so I say it's kind of hard to ask me that because there is no individual event or comment that I would immediately be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw that into the they showing love bucket. I would need to see that over time.
I respect that. Yeah, and I agree because I've learned it as well. On this, especially, I mean, I don't feel like it's limited to Memphis, but being that I've been doing music in the Memphis scene in Memphis, that's my only example. I've seen that a lot where you don't know if it's love or if it's hate, shade, or whatever, or if it's just somebody trying to stay in that grace with you, like just for a potential opportunity or a situation, like. And I think that's what I'm learning about myself because I'm very genuine with how I move. Like I hate that I have to do that now, but I'm learning that's part of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. The thing that bothers me the most is knowing that like that's like it's the unrequited sincerity, right? it's like, it's knowing that, like, when I'm talking to you, I'm really telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I have no scheme, no manipulation.
Right.
I have no,
Yep.
it's just, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even, and I say that in both directions. If it's criticism, I'm not here to shut you down. I'm here because I see some kind of potential. And maybe if you did it this way, you could get to where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? In both ways. I think it's not whether or not it's love or criticism or anything. It's about the sincerity of it. That's the part that I feel like is like knowing that I'm giving y'all sincerity, and I'm probably not going to get that back. But that's okay. Because this is all plays into the war that you're going to win, James.
I'm learning, man.
Period.
That's, yeah.
Moral of the story: show love, stop hating.
I'm gonna tell you the super moral of the story. The reason why I'm here, the reason why I can do all of this stuff, is not just dedication, resilience, and all this stuff, but it's a lot of showing love. You know what I'm saying? And sincere love, not strategic love.
Right, yeah.
Not like, oh, I'm gonna show love to this person because this person can help me. Like, nah.
Strategic love. That's a bar.
That's, bro. That's
Strategic love.
I mean, think about it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a good person to show love to. Like, that's terrible.
Ooh, it just stinks.
Yeah.
You can
Cringe.
see it on people's
exactly.
face.
Cringe, like my skin, my soul be like, nigga, what is this?
Yeah, we call that ass kissing.
Strategic love. That's the name of the song.
Strategic. It got to be in that like that vocal. Strategic.
Zapp and Roger type jump. Strategic love.
Yeah, that's
Strategic. Nah, that's hard. Because computer love is, well, whatever episode we got to talk about, the talk box or the evolution, whatever that, you
You
know
gotta
what
have
I'm
my
saying?
man Red on the beat.
Yeah,
Shout out Red.
we should.
Yeah, him and my man Rashad. You know, y'all remember Rashad? He was like around the U of M times when I was there, and he would be playing the guitar with the talk box. He's like a pianist. All right, we got to bring him through one time. So yeah,
Hey, I'm with it.
Guitars.
All right, so man, interesting.
What else we got, man? That covered a lot of ground, man.
It did. It did.
Hey, yo, shout out to the people in the chat leaving comments. And by the way, yeah, I see what y'all saying about the apparently there's some sort of maybe feedback loop or buzz underneath our vocals. But it's very much I can do in the midst of a live stream to try to fix it.
Yeah, we would have to chase that
But if
down
you guys
crazy.
can hear what we're saying, that's love. Please chime in with us. Shout out to everybody on the Facebook leaving comments. I see y'all. What y'all think, man? What y'all think about getting love in this game, showing love in this game? We're going to move on to the next topic, but if y'all want to keep talking about that, just let us know. What is the next topic?
What is we've had
you gotta talk about your prices, right? Price is right.
Money.
money.
Is the price right?
Okay. As a business, as a artist, as a creative, when you decide to become a business, become a brand, like how do you decide what's your price for your services?
Yeah, it's I feel like that could be just a super simple or very complicated and scientific process, but I feel like it should start with like, yo, if you did this thing and you walked away with this amount of money, would you be happy with that? Like just first start there, and then maybe dive in if you can, asking people about how much they get paid for stuff, and that could be a little tricky. But if you can, if there's somebody you can
That's
trust and that
frustrating.
trusts you, you know what I'm
You gotta
saying?
find somebody
But
you
people
trust.
won't tell you how much they get paid for stuff. I feel like that's stupid. Why you won't tell me? I'm just trying to figure my
No,
shit out.
That's the hate. That's
Yeah,
the love,
that's hate.
that- Because
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
What do you think I'm gonna rob you? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but like,
That's a crazy bug.
damn.
That's not a feedback loop, bro.
what was that?
That's some sort of like,
Gear.
oh, that's a digital.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mac, for sending that. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna see what's going on. But we got to continue. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, that is I feel like in that regard, I don't know. Why wouldn't you not? If it's someone that you know is doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too. I feel like people will. This is why I hate having to think this way. Because in a scheme of that, like people could just say a crazy, ridiculous price, so you can't get business
Yeah.
type of thing. Like,
Which is,
Wow, that's wild.
But that's what I'm saying.
I would have never
but
thought
that's what I'm
that.
saying. If someone, that's why you asking these questions, you definitely have to go to someone that you trust and feel they would be genuine with you and let you know how they do what they do or
Yeah.
what they charge or whatever. Because someone would, if they look at you as competition, like, yeah, I charge this, and now you charge this crazy price for this simple,
Yeah, follow me on this real quick. Do y'all remember feeling like it was illegal to drive with the light on inside your car?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Man, all my life, man. What you talking about?
Like,
crazy. Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what happened with like asking people about how much money they make. Like, I just grew up knowing that wasn't the thing to do without knowing why, and then it's like,
white
then we just
supremacy and
started
capitalism.
conjuring up the reasons why. Like, 'cause that's just human psychology. We gotta figure out. We put you know what I'm saying. We put stories together to make things make sense. So I feel like I just don't even know where that shit came from. Like,
I'm telling you.
why? You
It's
know what I'm saying?
capitalism and white supremacy and WASP culture. It is
What is WASP culture?
Like white American Protestant. What does the S stand for? Or I don't remember. Something about just
Satanist?
like no. Basically, like just like old American money. Like the etiquette is that you don't talk about money. It's impolite. And so like all of American culture is very like
Just
you're
based off of that.
you're not
Okay.
supposed to ask people how much money they make. You're supposed to talk about money. It also helps like just because economics are so fucked up here and no one's getting paid the same for the same amount same work. That like if you don't talk about it with your like people who are also working, then like the people who are paying the workers don't have to like be fair. So
That's-
like
that's
because they
real.
have literal laws in like not laws but rules like in corporate spaces where you can't talk to people about your salary.
Yeah, that's real.
Because like
Not everybody's getting paid the same.
yeah, and then people will like form a
That's-
fucking union and be
Nah,
like,
that's real. There's definitely people I've given deals to that I would not give to everybody,
Yeah, of course.
right? And I wouldn't want to complicate your emotions around working with me with that knowledge. So I guess that is a part of that is a reason that we've conjured up under that culture. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's insecure, bro. That's what. Dang.
Hold on. Let me speak from the other side of this. And I'm not saying I disagree with you. Everything you guys are saying makes perfect sense. But I remember, like, when you first started coming my way, I think that was in, like, your top 3 things. That might have been the first question you asked me.
How much money you make?
No, I don't think you walked in and was like, hey, yo, how much money you make, my guy?
How much you get paid to do this?
But I think we were talking about, like, something. Maybe it was about me selling beats or licensing beats or whatever, blah, blah. And, like, one of your first questions was just like, yo, when you do that, like, how do you know how much to charge? Like, how much do you charge for this or this or that? So it wasn't like how much do you make a year or in a month? But, like, one of your, and I want to say your very first, like, direct question to me was, how much do you charge for X, Y, and Z? You know?
Sounds plausible. I definitely would ask something like that.
Yeah. No, and I remember not knowing how to answer your question. Not because I didn't want you to know, but because so much of what goes into what I charge are things that I'm not even, especially at the time, I'm much better now. But at the time, I didn't even know how to quantify it and explain the value of it and why this was the price.
Right.
Because I had been doing this for so long, you know, that I had been doing this. But if you were just to ask me, like, hey, dog, why do you charge $1,000 for this? I would have been like, and somebody else charges $300 for it, I would have been like, I don't know. But over the years, I was
It's a clear
200, then
difference,
300, then
Yeah.
400, then 5, you know what I'm saying? And then I don't know why I charge $1,000. I just know that when I charge $1,000, there's something I do, people will come to me and pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, and so and I remember feeling the pressure because you're the first person I ever met in my life who didn't have enough shame to not ask direct ass questions. Like you were the most. Everybody else would be like, I want to know, but you know, I'll just fall back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You would be like, you just made money yesterday? How much was it? Like, that's what I mean. Like, he's really direct. You know. I'm not lying.
Yo, that specific question has never come out of my mouth. But that's the energy. I just want the people to know. That's definitely the energy. That's definitely the energy.
That is what I think, especially the good. I just feel like,
How much was it?
this nigga's different. Like, but you know, but I always I hated responding to questions like that. Not because I didn't want to give the truth, I just didn't know how to explain it yet. You know what I'm saying? And so I answered all of your questions. If you've never asked me a question, I haven't answered. You know what I'm saying? But I always found myself having to follow up with like a 10-minute thing of like, okay, but this is why. Right. You know, and I'm trying to make sure that you just turning 21. If I told you $1,000 for this, you not be going outside and being like, yo, I charge $1,000 for
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Fine art taught me that because like I had to learn like the way that you get to, so people price certain sizes of pieces and certain mediums at like just generally like starting prices. And then the only way you get to raise that price is by showing in certain galleries or being collected by certain collectors. Like the more people that buy your work, the more valuable it is. And especially it matters who buys it, because it doesn't matter. It's not like you get to charge more because like all of your like high school classmates bought your work. That, I mean, you can, but like the people are gonna ask, oh, who's this been collected by? And then if the price don't match who you name, they're gonna be like, I'm not paying $1,500 for a photograph by you.
Right, that's weak as hell.
And at first it made me mad, but then I was like, I realized that that's the market of this. And then like when people, I remember, especially like in 2016, 2017, people be like, yesterday's price is not today's price, and like the name your price stuff, and it's just like, I feel it. Definitely, like the thing of like, will you be happy walking away with this and like in charge what you charge and stick to it, and then like who can afford it. But like people were just making up numbers, and like this, like you ain't built up no market share. Who are you? Why is what you're offering more valuable than somebody else?
So hold on, real quick. I just want to shout out somebody. Big shout out. Dino Star C says, asking people how much they make changed my life. If you don't answer those questions, I automatically label you a hater or oppressor.
wow.
Real oppressor. Heavy.
That was such strong language. You are a slave driver.
Because why won't you tell me?
But I respect that, but also on some like, for me, is who's asking. That matters. Because I come from the hood. I come from the street.
Oh yeah, no, that's part two. That's the part two.
Because like,
hold on. I just want to let y'all know. I was doing my guest preacher job. I was like, let's talk about this, but let's not act like there isn't another.
That's a real thing. That's why I say it also depends on who's asking. Like, and the person that's asking, do you trust or have that relationship with the one that you're asking? Because
That's right.
depending on the relationship will determine the answer. Like I said, you ask somebody that question, they'll look at you like thinking that you're trying to scheme and rob and plot and you know, all that type of shit.
Yeah.
So it just depends. It just depends on who's doing the asking and telling.
That's true. I mean, you have to be wise about giving away personal information, just in the general, like, so yo, where you live at, like. Like,
Bro,
why?
Man, where you live at?
right, like,
Nigga be like, oh yeah, I stay up the street. Like, man.
Man, on the corner, man.
You like, you know what I'm saying? So no, there's definitely an element of wisdom for sure. And to go off of what you were saying about like the market, that was the other thing that is the more scientific part of what I was of my answer is that like I feel like you can charge cover the bases. I think everybody should understand that like, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get paid the value you can provide, right? Like so the better you are, the more able to get paid you are, of course. But then it's like a who question. Like if you want to if you want to earn $4,000 per beat, right? That means that you cannot work with the homies that you want to work with that can't afford $4,000 beats. You have to switch up where you exist at, and I feel like that's a difficult thing because you want to work you want to work with these people, but you want to have these.
Homies.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's facts. You got different homies. Then that changed the whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to get different homies. You know what I'm saying? And exist in a different spot. Or if it's more important to work with these people, then lower your prices because that's more important than the money to you. Is to be able to service this community. You know what I mean? So it's a who question more than anything. Like, like you can charge whatever as long as there's somebody willing to buy it.
That's bro. I really had to. I think you posted something in the chat the other day. It was like, bro, you can sell whatever. Cause what did you post? Something. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, you're like, bro, you can sell whatever as long as you find your audience. Type.
Yeah,
and I remember feeling that way because I came across something on YouTube. What are they called? They were called mystery boxes.
Oh,
And I was like, people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars off of like from
That shit is
Amazon
so
just for
stupid.
boxes. They don't even know what's in it, and they like going live. And I was like, this is a thing.
Because they selling an experience. They selling the feeling, the emotions, and there's people willing to pay for thrill.
Yeah. Especially they were saying these come from the dark web. I'm gonna get you some crime materials.
Bro, right? No,
Crime in a box.
I remember it blew my mind. It was a video. This person spent like $500 in for a box, and the description was air from Canada. And I was like, what? And it was just a box with a few different jars in it. And they said,
Oh my God.
That's crazy, but
That's crazy.
people like there's a market for everything, man.
Damn. Yeah.
Hey man, you know, one element that I wanted to mention, you kind of tapped on it, was like, you know, this whole how much do you charge thing, you know, and to an extent, even asking of the question, I don't have a problem with asking these questions at all. I never ask anybody these questions. I just found out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have a problem with any of this stuff. But what all of this leans into, and to me, what this whole conversation is about, is entitlement, right? Because when you're saying like people were just coming up with random ass prices and just throwing numbers out there, it's to suggest that you can start anywhere, right? That there is no earning of a price, and that even when you first begin to create something, that you and simply being able to create it should open the door and opt you in to a certain level of payment,
Right.
right? Without realizing you have to build up value, right? And what I mean by that is like, you know, I think people don't recognize like even if you and Pharrell make the exact same beat, your beat is not as valuable as Pharrell's beat, like, right? Because there is a built up over time growing intrinsic value of the fact that it simply came from his hands,
Right.
right? And so, you know, and I think that people with that level of assumption is where the question and or conversation about how much should I charge gets even more confusing. It's when people realize that it's when people don't realize that you can't start there, right?
Right.
And that's when, you know, that context matters. So it makes it easier for when a kid maestro at age 21 asks, I make mad beats, how much do you charge? If I know you understand that dynamic, then I don't have to spend 9 minutes being like, hey, bro, you got to work your way up to this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, you don't have to.
And in fact, if you just added one more word to that sentence, it would change everything. If you said, yo, I make mad beats, how much do you charge now? Then I would have been
That's
like,
different, yeah.
that's a different question.
Yeah.
And I would have a lot more confidence that you understood.
It's
this
a
level
progression.
is
It's a progression.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like the value isn't necessarily the thing. It's how much and how many problems do you solve for that person?
That's it.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
Like,
That's it.
Absolutely. Do you solve my marketing problems as well? Do you solve my visibility problems? Do you solve my everything?
you solve
Do
my
you
quality, my quality problems.
all
Like,
that, yeah.
Do you solve my I'm trying to get signed problems, and having you next to it furthers my ability to do that?
Yep.
Do you solve my experience problem, my social media problems? I'm trying to be able to create content off this.
Exactly.
How many problems do you absolutely?
That's it. That's absolutely. That's a great way to put that.
And that determines your price.
yeah, it's like you solve more problems or bigger problems, the more you could charge. If you solve little problems or you provide solutions to problems that only exist to you and not other people that you are trying to serve, then you know what I'm saying, you're there's gonna be a gap.
Yep. Yeah.
Next case, Judge. You know what I'm saying? That was it.
Right. But I will say it's also helpful. It's also like, you know, hearing Timbaland charges $100,000 a beat can provide inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, too, you know what I'm saying? Be like, y'all, if you know that it's progression to work up to that point, just don't look at the price. Look at everything else that Timbaland has and has done, you know, that equals that price, and be like, yo, I can get that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Feel like you're worth that. Just know that it's a progression. Like, you know, see yourself as a person and become it.
We got a question. Nah, I didn't cut you off.
Yeah, no.
Shout out to the people dropping questions in the comments. We got one that says, let's say an artist you know is dope and wants to work with you, and you want to work with them. Do you charge them or not for the sake of the art that could be made? Leave it up to y'all.
For me, so I've been in those situations. It depends, like, because being dope is one thing, but like, are you dope and consistent? Are you dope and actually moving? Are you put like, because you can be dope and just all of your songs, you just playing them for your homies. So that's a different situation versus me being like, oh, you dope, I'm dope. Let's do something together and figure out what this can be versus me being like, you dope, I'm dope, but hey, I still gotta pay these bills. I don't know what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna have to charge you something. I might give you a discounted price because I do want to work with you. But it's no guarantee that, like you said, you're not solving the problems.
Yeah.
So if I have to do more on this end to make sure these songs get out, get heard, or whatever, then it's not just on some, oh, it's love, let's just work because you're dope.
Yeah.
Like, nah, what are you doing because you're dope?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just like a value thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you value? You know, in that moment, do you value the experience of just getting in a lab and making music with people that you fuck with? Like, does that fulfill you and make you like happy to where you go to sleep feeling like your life is better now? Right? I would say that might be a good reason. Yeah. Does that feeling, is making money off of what you do and put your craft into, does that not make you feel like you're being taken advantage of? Is this an opportunity to get better than, you know, working with a particular artist that you know will push you forward into a different space? And then, of course, all the things that, you know, LJ mentioned on like, hey, you know what I'm saying, are your bills more important at that moment? Is it more important to save face for your brand and be like, hey, I don't want people getting the idea that I give away production. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to mess up my integrity of the specific brand I built. Like, that's a really individualized question. And you just you're just going to have to determine that for yourself.
I think, man, like, for me, the number one word, you spoke to values. That to me, that's the number one word. But if I could add a prefix on it, it would be, is there aligned values? To me, that matters more.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like meaning like, you know, I'm a grown ass man who feeds his family with his music.
Yep.
I'm surrounded by 6 trillion artists at any given time. All right, hold on, we got a comment. In 2023, nobody should be doing shit for free. Niggas got money. You fucking up. Just my opinion, though. Just put the hands up like this. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely shouldn't be doing nothing for free. That's crazy. It don't have to be money though.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be money. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be money.
Okay, so I feel like it's about aligned values because at the end of the day, it's like what I've come to realize over time matters either just as much and or more to me at times in my life. Is like, okay, let me step back and say this. A very important thing when it comes to answering this question is being how self-aware you are of the value you bring to a scenario. Right? We always thinking about what somebody else brings. What do you bring?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because, and then what value are you willing to invest? So let's just say there's artist X over here and I'm thinking about making a song with this person, right? This person is doing a song with me, right? What value do I bring, right? Obviously I have studio, recording, I make beats, I have X and this, and I'm serious, blah, blah, blah. Now, me knowing the value I bring, that's what's gonna allow me to understand what's gonna keep me from feeling like they didn't do their part or they did their part. Meaning like if I am not intentional and specific enough to know that, yo, once we do this song, I want to do X, Y, and Z afterwards with this song, right? If for some reason doing X, Y, and Z, I'm feeling like, damn, bro, they not really trying to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. If I was 20 years old, I might be upset, right? But at my current age now, after all the things that I've done, I know I should have assessed that before I did the song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right? And if I don't assess that, if I don't do what's necessary to recognize we have aligned values, aligned intentions, aligned goals, right? Then, you know, then when that happens, I need to be prepared to either do more or just, you know, or just not do the song.
Do it at all,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be aware of all of this stuff. I do feel like, but one thing I will say is this. Like, I feel the sentiment of like, nah, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't be doing nothing for free, especially now when, you know, vending machines is asking for a tip. Like, that's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, that's crazy.
it's the craziest thing ever. Literally self-checkout is asking you for a tip. Nah, I'm charging everybody for everything. I feel But at the same time, man, like I'm gonna also say this. As a dude who has done this professionally for over a decade, feeds his family off of this, blah, 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 man, sometimes, man, I just gotta do this for fun. It's gotta be, sometimes I need to feel like I'm 16 again, and I'm just getting in the lab with homies to just create something because it's fun and I'm excited about it, you know.
And that's what you value.
Yeah. And in those scenarios, again, before I hop into that, like if I'm just messing around and I don't really have no intention to put nothing out or whatever, blah, blah, I got to make sure the people I'm dealing with understand that. Yeah. Like, I don't want somebody coming to, yo, just do a song, you know, fuck it or whatever, blah, blah. And then after we do the song, they like, all right, man, so when it's coming out? And like, yo, next, already got the artwork for it, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, yeah, that was just a fun Friday night for me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just aligned values, you know, that would determine that.
I agree. I also want to say too, like even with that, since we're on this subject, like I remember I went through it of just being excited of getting paid for what I do. Like that was like my first time getting paid for like making a beat. I was like, bro, I can do this shit for real. This is crazy. But also I had to learn that like you said, the values of truly it's not just always about the money, because I went through a phase of like just accepting any and everybody that was paying. And then what I love to do started to feel like work. And I was like, okay, I got to reevaluate some shit. So I just say that like on some like, even if the money is cool, like if you don't really enjoy it or something, like you can't always just take the money. It depends on, like you said, the value. What are you doing it for? What's your intentions behind it? What's the goal? Like, because just accepting any and everybody just because they got the money to do it, you'll burn out fast.
I want to kind of echo what Kid said earlier. Add a few more details. Yeah, I mean, like now, obviously, if you need liquid, get liquid. Right. If you need cash, get cash. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking away from that at all. But also, you know, again, sometimes working with people is solving problems that you would have had to pay money to solve. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know, and so like sometimes it's working with this person and you're like, I don't know if, you know, I don't want to do nothing for free. Nah, but like that working with that person is going to save you $1,000 that you would have spent over here. Yep. Right? And so there may not be an exchange of cash, right? But there is a saving of cash. And if you don't notice, like the rich of the rich, they make money, but the reason why they have money is because they keep money. Yeah. Right. Yep. That's it. You know, they keep money better than middle class people, right? That's the trick. Is to learn how to keep your money. So yeah, there's a lot of ways for free to not be free. You just got to be strategic.
Man, intentions. Yeah. It's all self-awareness type energy too. Like, yo, why are you here? Like, what are you doing this for? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like so many times, and I'm guilty of this. Niggas just show up, not knowing why. Just because it's a habit, even if it's showing up to, you know, to the beat machine, to the computer to create. Like, I'm not saying you have to have a grand message for what you create, but why did you show up? You know what I'm saying? Like every day got to get better, got to be better than the next day, a little bit. Every week got to get better than the next week. And that really only happens with intention. Like nothing, like you don't really go far by accident. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like There's a vision and there's steps, you know what I'm saying?
All right. But I do want to, just on this subject, before we head out, like, because inflation is real, how do you adjust?
Man, shout out to all my Facebook followers, man. Y'all know I've been expressing frustration there, man. But Kid, you got it, man. I'm a guest preacher this time, right, bro. You know what I'm saying?
How do niggas adjust? Nigga, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out too. You just gotta like adjust. I mean, like every business. Yeah. Why do producers gotta be the only businesses that don't like operate like a business and raise the price? You know what I'm saying? Now that's a very blanket statement. Like because the part of it is like the reality that not everybody's wages has like, you know, we just looked at we just looked at the numbers. Inflation has risen a certain amount, and like the minimum wage is still $7.25 over like mad years. Like, so I mean, it's not like everybody got more money, so we're just staying the same, right? Right. But there is, because we're talking about business, we're talking about charging people.
We're talking about standing on business.
You know, and so like you have to think about the economy that you're working in. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that to people, you just got to find different customers. Like I feel like you adjust by just getting a different level of clientele.
The adjustment that would be most effective, or in my opinion, and I think this is across the board, not even just for creatives, is like I think we have to find ways to emphasize more, in addition to paying with money, bartering of like skills and resources and details, because people have things. They may not have money, but like they have other things, like Matt was saying, that you would have to spend money on. Yeah. And like in times of like economic strife, we need to revisit some of these more like interpersonal ways of trading value. Like, what can you do for me? What value can you add to what I'm doing that maybe you don't have the money?
Okay, so.
But that means you can't service as many people.
Well, okay, so Okay, here's the immediate like flame of a red flag that pops off in my head, right?
We're thinking the same thing.
Here's the thing. All right, I feel you. Okay, let me say this to anybody listening. This is my truth. I don't know if this is your truth. This is my truth. 99.9999 infinite nines amount of people that come to me and want something from me never think about what they can provide for me, right? They only think about what I can give them, right? They never think about the idea of presenting or supplying some level of value to me that's actually value I need, right? And so I feel like in order for that to work, you would have to have people. You would have to have a nation of people a lot less self-centered, right? Because people think about what they want from you. They do not think about how they can help you or how what they're doing will provide a value to you that enriches you. And here's the part that's the worst. If you even bring up the idea of a mutual exchange of something, or the fact that maybe what they're providing isn't what you necessarily need, now they're feeling judged. Now they're feeling looked down upon, right? Or the idea that again, we're talking about entitlement, the idea that I owe them something because I'm their OG, or that I have more money, or that I am more successful. Simply because of that alone, I'm supposed to be okay with getting less out of this exchange than you, right? And so, like, the enemy, the Darth Vader of that idea is entitlement, right? And in this country, entitlement is at an all-time high. And I would challenge on anyone on planet Earth to find a country of people who feel more entitled than Americans. I feel like that is a top 5 characteristic of Americans.
I mean, yeah.
That's definitely how America operates. I super agree. I was gonna say the same thing, but in just a different way. I super agree. And I just feel like people don't even consider it's self-absorption, because like people, want to create wealth. And this is something I've been learning more and more. And I finally like have better like language to start doing something about it and understanding it, is that like you get money, you get opportunity, you get resources, you get notoriety from, it's in direct proportion to the amount of people you help solve their problems.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you're not thinking in those terms of solving people's problems and helping them, then like your efforts, you know what I'm saying, and what you're doing, what you're passionate about, like kind of get cut off. It hits a ceiling, right? Because you're thinking about how you're solving your own problems. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a cutoff, right? I mean, so I just feel like we just don't even be thinking about like, yo,
bro,
what's my offer? You know what I mean?
I learned this in New York, but it takes a certain, and I'll admit, I did not inherently know this, you know what I'm saying? But when I moved to New York, like one of the smartest things somebody ever told to me was this. They said, hey, you trying to get in the room with certain people? You trying to have certain people acknowledge you or give you opportunities or to even have a conversation with you. He was like, the easiest way to be remembered by a busy person is to solve a problem of theirs. I was like, bro, okay, bet. And so that's what I did. Every person that I met, like before I said or asked them whatever, blah, blah, like I presented a solution. And the first thing you got to do is pay attention to these people. You have to watch it, because that's the thing, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, look, man, I'm about to take y'all to school. Y'all ready? Everybody watching, man. Y'all about to learn some. I'm telling you, this transformed my life. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let me tell you something. A busy person does not even have the time to explain to you what their problem is. If I got to sit down to you and explain all the blah, 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 guess what? You're giving me another problem. Because now you're taking time away from these other problems I got to solve, right? If you can find yourself a smart man, big shout out my G Andros, A smart man told me, he said, man, the best thing you can be is resourceful. He was like, if people feel like looking at you as looking at someone who can solve my problems and figure out how to solve them, people will always want you in the room. Always, right? And guess what? That does not include, hey man, what's your problem for today? Okay, can you tell me more about that? No, you're not helping people. You're not helping busy people. You might be helping not busy people doing that, right? Because you're showing that you care. Great. Busy people are busy, right? So guess what you do? You watch them, you listen, you shut up, right? And you pay attention in a way that says, okay, I see this person's issues. Which one do I feel like I am most likely or capable to solve, or to help solve, to give, maybe I don't solve it, but I take out some of the options.
Right.
Don't come to me and say, hey man, here's 38 solutions to your answer. No, go through all 38 and say, I went through 38 solutions. These are the 3 with the highest likelihood of success.
Yeah.
Bet. If somebody walks up to me and tell me that, hey, everybody asking me for something for free, do that. Go and solve a problem for me. And then come ask me for something for free. I guarantee you, you will get a different I Make Mad Beats. I promise you. And that works with any busy person, right? But the first thing you got to do is get out your own fucking way. Stop thinking about yourself all the time and what you want and what you need. That's the first thing you got to do. You can't do that, good luck.
And it's like it's a lack mentality. Like when you focus on all the stuff you don't have, like all you can do, your field of view is limited. You're not even able to see other people's problems because your vision is turned around on what you don't. But if you view yourself, like you said, best thing you could do is be resourceful. If you view yourself as like, yo, I'm this abundant resource to help people, like you would just embody that and walk in the room and just be scanning the room like, you know what I'm saying? And you learn that as an intern. Like that's why it's important to intern, because like that's the basics. Intern 101. You scan the room. Oh, trash not out. Cup here. You know what I'm saying? This person ain't got nowhere to sit, and you train the muscle of like,
Angela, what up?
you know what I'm saying, of learning how to solve other people's problems. And that's a skill. That's why it's important to intern, you know what I'm saying? Which is a sacrifice of your time, whatever. But big picture, like, okay, like solve little problems so you can start solving bigger problems. And, you know, you got to start somewhere. You got to get in the room. So I'm gonna solve these little problems, and then I'm gonna come across a big problem to solve. Bet. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting. Let's go.
That's it, man.
That's it, bro. I think at the end of the day, man, whether it's being a business or being a potential client or wanting to learn something, like if there's anything I've seen that'll propel you further in this world, no matter what direction you go in, kind of reminds me of how we started today's conversation. It's your ability to solve problems, troubleshoot, figure out the issue, and walk into it, and make it happen. Like if you can do that in as producers, right? Mm-hmm. As producers, we invest in ourselves. We're not just getting better technically, but we're making our platforms better. We're expanding our visibility, so that way when we produce for somebody, we're potentially solving another problem. Right? You know, I can tell you a million. This guy right here, man. Watching him say, "Yo, man, there is a pothole in the playback engineer world of this city. I would like to solve that problem and go and learn how to solve that problem and then become that." And then his value turn up in an international way because of it.
Right.
You're just making yourself more valuable. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. And that's why, if you're not willing to accept that, if you're not willing to accept the fact that like how you are currently might need some adjustment, you might need some investment, might need to get stronger, might need to get smarter, might need to get faster. If you're not willing to accept that challenge, then you gotta accept what you get. You gotta accept your current value in the marketplace. And guess what? You don't get to determine that. The market determines that.
Accept that shit versus hating, bro.
Yeah, that's it. No, exactly. You want to get paid more, you want to get blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, what are you willing to do to make it easy and obvious that you should get that? Because you still have to compete against people. You don't deserve anything in this game. You deserve, what you should get in relation to the things happening around you, right? And so if the people around you offer more value,
Good luck.
You deserve less.
that's it. That's the nature of this market. Could it be different? Should it be different? That's a different conversation. We're talking about what it is,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and value in terms of the market, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about intrinsic value as a person,
And people
like
mix
who
those
you are.
things up, and that's why it becomes a
you're right.
stickier conversation than it needs to be. It's like nobody's saying that you are now worth millions and millions and millions if that's what you desire, but that's not what the market says that what you're offering is worth.
Right, so you just got to adjust that part. But like, you know what I'm saying? You're just as valuable as anybody else in the room, as a person, as a mind, right? And you have to recognize that so you don't get in your own way, right? And then you could just get to work on solving problems and getting this money. You know what I mean?
That's it.
That's something I've had to learn, and I'm learning still. I feel like that's something we all deal with, and that shows up in different stages, you know, in your career. Like, it's, you know, that's something a little bit more obvious to see when you're an intern, but when you get to another stage in your career where you are making money, you got a business, you've got to be able to be self-aware and scan the room of that is your life and be like, okay, I'm not providing value in these spaces. I'm not providing enough value, so use your God-given creativity to figure out, okay, how do I start solving more problems, right? That I didn't even have the ability to see before I got to this point. And that's going to take some time.
I think-
and then,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
sorry, bro.
yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. It takes time, right? So, you know, we live in a very fast society. So that's another hindrance is like our desire to get on or get what we want quickly. But
But
I
that's
mean, yeah.
But even that, like that's the thing is like you can't think linearly. So like a lot of times, like yes, sometimes solving somebody else's problems is like what you know how to do, right? And so you might be like, all right, like let me learn, let me do this, blah blah. And this is what rich people know. A lot of times it's just who you know, right? Like your ability to solve problems is just, do you know people who can solve these problems? And how good are you at making those connections? How much integrity have you built up so that way when you call on that person, they're willing and able to say, nah, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's many ways to skin a cat, you know what I'm saying? But like it's, at the end of the day, if you're a conduit to solutions, that's what people value, you know?
Y'all got to watch that movie, The Black Godfather. It's about Clarence Avant,
Yeah.
who is the greatest at what you're talking about, like not being the executor of the problem, but knowing how to connect and solve people's problem that way. And now this man's got a Netflix documentary, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a legend and has made a life for himself. So yeah.
Yeah, man. With that being said, man, thank y'all for showing up, for being a part of this conversation. We had a lot going on the Facebook chat, you know what I'm saying? I respect that. This Facebook chat was gangster. Yeah. Big shout out to everybody who tuned in. Man, y'all got a classic Nemo passionate rant, you know what I'm saying? We get those every 3 or 4 episodes, you know what I'm saying? They're becoming more regular now, though. I kind of feel like, you know, maybe I should tone down the rhetoric a little bit. But.
I think we just turned up the topic. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, with that being said, my name is I Make Mad Beats. This has been Type Beat, a unapologetic podcast on coming from outer space. And behind me is...
LJ1S.
Kid Maestro.
And Sheena.
With that being said, y'all have a great day, night, afternoon. Stay dangerous. Be safe. Peace.
Goodbye.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit. Here we go again.